Celebrities in a luxury Los Angeles apartment building are claiming COVID-19 related financial hardship in order to get eviction protections. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and the truth of the matter is that it is a little bit ridiculous. So up in Los Angeles, they have a building, and it is a very high-end luxury building where celebrities and influencers and other extremely wealthy people are living. And the rents there, they start at $10,000 a month and they go all the way up to like $65,000 a month. So this is an extremely high-end building. But some of the tenants in there, guess what? They're not paying rent, and the landlord is going after them. Obviously, the landlord has to do what they have to do. But the funny thing about it is some of these tenants are claiming financial hardship from COVID-19 as an excuse of why they're not paying. Now, obviously, if you are living in a luxury apartment building, in my opinion, you should have absolutely no protections whatsoever from the pandemic, okay? There shouldn't be any sort of eviction protections, any sort of eviction moratorium stuff for you. You need to just go and, if you can't afford to live in that place, find somewhere you can afford, because if you were able to get in there, you're probably wealthy and you probably have enough money to afford something else. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Do you think that people who are able to afford at minimum $10,000 a month in rent to live in some luxury apartment building deserve protections for, pandemic related financial losses? I don't, okay? That would be like saying, hey, we need a mortgage forbearance for people living in $10 million mansions. It's ridiculous, okay? And it just puts the whole system, it just puts it makes it look like the program doesn't work, and it makes it look like, hey, we are completely, the bureaucracy is completely useless because they shouldn't even allow these people to put in for those sort of protections. Now, I know the reason they're doing it, okay? In the state of California, I believe if you apply for rent assistance, right, that immediately stops the eviction process, and that person might be able to get at least a few more months while the bureaucracy tries to figure out if they qualify. But in my opinion, they should just look at the income of the person and be like, hey, this person doesn't qualify. Or, look at the apartment and be like, hey, we're not going to provide rental assistance for somebody living in some $10,000 a month place. Okay, this is ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, the article I have, it's coming from thehollywoodreporter.com, and it says, eviction lawsuits hit pricey LA apartment building once named hottest in city. 10,000, located in Century City, has been a coveted address for influencers and other creatives who can afford rent prices ranging from $10,000 to $65,000 per month. Yeah. Okay. Now, I know that these influencers, they probably aren't making as much money as they claim to be making. Now, the reason they rent apartments in buildings such as this is because they want to show off. They want to show off how much money they have and, take pictures of them, with the LA skyline in the background and, oh, look how rich I am. Look how good I'm living. And it's a complete joke, okay? A lot of them, they came into money very quickly, and this is the case for a lot of these people who, they're young, they come into money very quickly, and they have no clue whatsoever about financial literacy, how to manage their money, how to make it last a long time. This can be true of, athletes and actors and, just anybody who can, a lottery winner, anybody who comes into a large sum of money very quickly. They go out there and they're buying, expensive play toys. They are spending ridiculous amounts of money on rent for apartments in this building, and it makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, so as a person who built up a large sum of money over a very, very long period of time through saving and investing, okay, I couldn't even imagine ever falling into a situation like this. Even if I was at this point of time to just suddenly have millions upon millions of dollars thrown at me, I know better than to go off and, do something stupid like to rent an apartment for $65,000 a month, okay? So I don't have anyone to impress at this point. I have a family, I have kids, I'm just trying to live a nice, comfortable life, and I don't want to go off and live in some fancy building just so I could show off pictures on Instagram. What idiocy. But anyway, let's get into this article and see what it says. One of LA's priciest apartment buildings may soon have a number of for rent signs in the windows. An attorney for 10,000, located at 10,000 Santa Monica Boulevard in Century City, filed 11 eviction lawsuits in the Superior Court of California over claims of unpaid rent. The suits, filed in recent weeks, target several high-profile tenants, including a Chicago rap sensation and 2 Instagram influencers, some of whom allegedly owe hundreds of thousands of dollars in back rent. Yeah, if you owe hundreds of thousands of dollars in back rent, let's say even if you rented, let's say your apartment you rented was at the high end, you're renting this $65,000 a month apartment, okay? 65, that is so ridiculous, but let's say you're renting this $65,000 a month apartment, right? If you owe hundreds of thousands, that implies at least $200,000 in rent that you owe. That means that you haven't paid rent for, 3 to 4 months at least. Okay, so you couldn't afford this place if that's the case. And rather than just leaving, or you should have never even got it in the first place, okay? There are, even in the very, very expensive places like Los Angeles, there are so many places for so much cheaper than this. And you could have had a nice, decent place, nice furnishings, everything for probably half. You could have probably been paying, $5,000 a month and had a decent place in Los Angeles. But no, you're just so obsessed with showing off and you have no financial literacy. You went and got something that you couldn't afford. And now here you are owing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month rent. And I mean, what can we say? Okay, so let's continue. Once called the hottest apartment building in LA by Los Angeles Magazine, 10,000 launched in 2017 with a reported 2,000 people on a waiting list to pay anywhere from $10,000 to $65,000 per month for one of the 283 units in the 40-story building. It has become such a magnet in part thanks to luxurious digs and sweeping views complemented by amenities like a pool, tennis court, state-of-the-art gym, game room, wet bar, robot butlers, and a Rolls-Royce valet service. Residents have included Demi Lovato and disgraced attorney Michael Avenatti. Well, they shouldn't be talking about Michael Avenatti. I mean, isn't he in prison right now? Okay. And Demi Lovato, some of the crazy stuff I've read from her lately. I mean, I guess if those are the best celebrities that they could get for their buildings, so be it. But that might not be the two people that I would be like, oh yeah, come live here. We've got, this guy is sitting in prison and this crazy lady. But like I was saying, the main thing that you need to know is that these people, they don't have financial literacy, okay? They spend money faster than they make it. They don't invest anything. They just are trying to show off. And this is the result of that, okay? When I talk about, building wealth slowly and, investing and saving and planning for the future, I'm looking out at like a 20-year plus timeline, okay? And I'm 42 years old, so that means I'm looking off, hey, what am I going to be doing when I'm 60? Okay, if I spend all the money I have right now, then what am I going to do when I finally reach retirement age? I'm going to have nothing. And that's not what I want. I want to be able to say, hey, I've got my house paid for. I've got a large sum of cash in the bank. I've got a ton of investments. I got my kids' college paid for. Everything is good, and I'm going to be able to go off in my older years and relax and not have to worry about anything. Meanwhile, Instagram influencer is worried about, well, next week I want to post a cool picture on Instagram, so I need to go and lease a Rolls Royce so that you see what the problem is, right? I'm going to go and I'm going to get this $65,000 a month apartment so that everyone knows how well I'm doing. Whatever. You look like a moron, and 5 years from now, most people won't even know who any of these people are. That's the way this celebrity nonsense goes. Instead of, slowly building up their money over time, or if you do get a large lump sum like that, getting help with saving and investing, and maybe you need a financial advisor. Maybe you need someone to really make sure that you are putting that money aside, and not wasting it. But no, they just don't do that because they don't understand. Okay? Let's continue. Named in the eviction lawsuits are Jas Mather, a self-described serial entrepreneur who has 7 million Instagram followers and lists his title as founder and CEO of companies Limitless X and Emblaze One, sneaker influencer Benjamin Kapelushnik, better known as Benjamin Kicks, on IG, where he posts photos with Drake and Kanye West for his 1 million followers, and rapper Herbert Wright, known by stage name G Herbo, to fans and 7.3 million IG followers. Never heard of any of them, okay? Now, I admit, like I said, I don't have an Instagram, okay? I don't follow a lot of this social media stuff. YouTube is the extent of my social media presence. So if you're not on YouTube in a big way, probably in the real estate or the health and fitness sphere, then I'm not going to even know who you are, okay? It has been a challenging time for renters and homeowners amid the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Out of all the eviction lawsuits filed, THR noticed one renter who filed a response to notify the court of an intent to declare COVID-19 related financial distress. An official at 10,000 declined to comment. Requests for comment to the aforementioned tenants were not returned as of press time. Yeah, so one tenant is claiming COVID-19 related financial distress. Can you believe that? Okay, $10,000 a month. Just get the hell out. That's what I say. Get the hell out. Go. You better get your butt out. You don't qualify for rental assistance. You shouldn't qualify for eviction protections. You're like, oh, well, COVID-19 made it so that I can't post on Instagram anymore. Shut up. Get out of here. You're a joke. Okay, and this whole thing is a joke. So, yeah, interesting article. I don't have any sympathy for these influencers who can't afford to live in this super high-end luxury apartment building, okay?